to pour some new Brass Eagles today. So we're going to have that going, and it'll take it a moment to melt down. So while we're waiting on that, it's already up to 1200 degrees in the furnace part, but see, even touching this, it's not hot. So it's really got to heat all the way up to get into that crucible and melt that all down. But we will be working on sanding these pours down while we're waiting to pour that brass. So that's what's going on in this live stream today. Just let me get my mask on now. It's allergy season, so I'm already having trouble with breathing. Don't want to make it worse with the copper dust, silver dust. And it's been a while, but you know, we've got a couple of coin silver pours here, Charizard and Eagle. A couple of brass ones, a Charizard with some pits in it, but we'll see if we can sell it. And then that brass skull, copper skull, and Charizard, and the aluminum skulls. That'll be sold as a pair together. So. the silver to polish down. Alright, that's getting close to done. That one, let's see, the other one, it's still got some deep divots. Okay, let me check and see if our brass has melted yet. Oh, come on. Nope. Nope, hasn't even started to go down yet. So it's hot enough here, temperature-wise, but maybe if I raise it to 1900, it'll speed it up. There, 1904. And here, I'll go grab some gloves so I can hold this stuff on here longer. That doesn't work very good. smooth that out. All right, let's take a look at the furnace again here. See if our brass melted yet. Can I touch this? Ooh, it's pretty hot. So maybe not a good idea. Whoa. I just realized my gloves are open there, so I gotta be careful. Probably need another pair. Man, I don't know. It's not. Alright, I guess raise the temperature again. See if that stuff will start melting. It should be melting already. Okay. Just, I don't know. Yeah, 2010 degrees. That should be enough to melt it down. If it doesn't, I'm not sure. Some of that stuff is staying towards the top. I don't know if it's too big to sink down or what, but here, let's keep working on these things here. That's all nice, but here is the problem. this again. Finally, it went down. There's still some kind of slag going on because it shouldn't be making all that smoke, that white smoke and stuff. So, okay, I'm just going to lower this. Now that everything's melted, it doesn't need to be so hot. Whoa, but not that. Yeah, that's probably good. 1843. Close that. I'm not going to latch it, but I'll just close it so we can start setting everything up for doing our pour. Okay. This one here. Put my pours we were working on somewhere else so they don't get molten brass all over them. Back over there, back over there. Okay. Let's get so I think we'll do our eagle. Okay. Yeah, we can try the skull again. Let me brush that. Let's see, not with that brush. Where is... I had a soft bristle brush so I don't mess up the mold too much. But I'm not sure where it is though. I don't want to use like a steel brush in there. Let's just, maybe that'll be enough to do a skull pour, another brass skull. Charizards. Still got a lot of use left. Okay. I'm gonna check if there's anything else in my drawer I want to do. It's not a ton of brass anyway. Maybe I'll try the Tetris mold just for fun. I'll just put it here for now. Okay, let me get, I'm going to need, I found my old tongs, which are way better because they close all the way to get a better grip. So I got that. I probably need to take some slag out. Let's see. I'll just put the, well, I don't want that to splash on the molds. I'll put it over there for now. Okay. I guess that should be good. Let me hit this with a torch. Red hot. Okay, that should be hard enough to stick in there and get slag out. Not as many viewers as we usually have pouring, but that's fine. Some of you will see the live pour. Okay, so let's get all this junk out of here. Yep. I don't know what these spider webs are. I'm guessing it's from the stuff that's in the primer, you know, of the brass casings and the bullets and everything. Yeah, I keep scooping those out and they just keep forming new ones, so okay. Well, that should be all that. Yeah, because I'm bringing some brass out when I do that, so. Alright, should be done with that slag spoon. Close that up again. And heat up the molds and tongs here. We should be good to pour now. Have gloves just in case. Those web things out of the way a little bit. Let's go there for now. Okay. Alright, let's do a quick little pull up here. Oh man, that stuff is setting up too quick. Yeah, Charizard ain't gonna turn out. And I don't think the Eagle or the Skull might. The Skull might, but yeah, Charizard didn't turn out. skull turned out pretty good. It should be all right. Let's see about this eagle here. Okay. The eagle, you know, his beak is good. It's just down towards the bottom here. It didn't cover all the way. All right, let me turn this thing down. All the way down to 0. So I didn't do any Tetris. Alright, so that can cool down now. This can go back over here. I don't think it's hot, but it ain't hot enough to burn something. I can put that back in the drawer. This can all come off like that. That can cool there. And that can work on sanding. Now I got a few more pores to work on. Let me hook up the sander again. Oh, I don't want to touch that hot stuff with it. So maybe I'll just move these to over here. All right, let's see what we got. So here's what we ended up with. The eagle, beak's good, head's good, feathers didn't finish out on the bottom. So I don't know if I'll do a re-pour or try to finish that up. See how it looks. Charizard did not, it didn't complete, so that's to be poured again. And then there's the skull. So last couple brass pours, the skulls have been fine, but not the other stuff. So okay, I'll just put that there for now, and that over there. Dry this one off so I can start sanding it with the others. There, so that's something that can be sanded. I can put all my other pores down. Probably the next stream, we'll take a look at this one. I just got this mold. It's for, lead fishing weights. So I did those other ones over there. The ones like this we did before. Now I have a mold here, and it's pretty simple. You just pour the lead in there with this in it, and you take that off, and then you'll have those balls around there, but there's a hole for your fishing line to go through. You can just pull that up, out like that, and then they should slide right off into your water to quench. So we'll probably play with that in the next video or live stream, depending on how I want to do it. All right, I'll go put this back. We can do some more sanding for a little while. Let's see, put these here. Okay.